My mission, should I choose to accept it, is to bike out into oncoming somewhat severe weather, about 7 or so miles. And this gospel booklet, it's actually the Gospel of John with some other information in the back and the gospel presentation in the front, and put it in a little library inside of a camping area, Point Beach. But yeah, anyway, hey guys, what's up? I know I'm in desperate need of a haircut. I just thought I would take this opportunity to make a video. And I just ate a bunch of food, so I'm kind of letting that digest a little bit. I want to get there before the rain comes because, as part of my mission that I have chosen for myself, I want to get there before that comes because I don't want this to get wet. I'm not just put it in a bag or something, but what's the fun in that? There's no adventure in that. But anyway, so let's talk quickly about one thing I want to talk about for a while. I know it's kind of old news now with this stuff. You know, you want to get at it right away. And this, I am not getting at it right away. It's about, man, why am I forgetting the guy's name already? Matthew Brown. So a few weeks ago, over the course of 3 weeks, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, but under Jeremy Corbell's YouTube page, released 3 videos of a interview with new whistleblower Matthew Brown. Hear that thunder? Ooh, yeah, I can't wait. It's actually not really gonna pass by, I don't think necessarily my area. And I'm kind of heading north a little bit. It's gonna be more Manitowoc than Two Rivers, but it's raining a little bit. Anyway, so lots of stuff to talk about in that interview, like a lot of stuff. But I just wanted to talk real quickly about what Matthew said, being that there is a God. Now, let me just read his direct quote at the very end of episode 3. So that was broken up into 3 parts over the course of 3 weeks, with the last part being that week of May 12, which I thought, and probably was intentional. Actually, I did comment on Jeremy Corbell's Twitter. Hey, this seems kind of intentional that you're breaking it up and having the last one being the week of the supposed UAP hearing, which now we know never actually came to be, but that was what the plan originally was. And he said something underneath that, which I didn't really get it, but I think he was kind of confirming it. So let me just read, and I highly recommend going back and watching that entire thing. But the last part of that interview, there was a F-bomb like right before Matthew speaks, so I didn't, I'm reading off of my Facebook post because I kind of shared some of this stuff, but well, let me just read actually my post and then I'll get to the quote. But I said this on May 13th, which is the day it probably came out. This man's words are somber, extremely powerful, and deeply enlightening. And I repeat 1,000 times, this topic is ripe for Christian commentary. In fact, I would go as far to say as it demands it. But it's also for anyone. I especially think people in military would get something out of this because of the oaths that they have taken. I don't know, I just feel that it might hit them in a different way. Anyway, third and final part of this 3-ish hour long interview from a Pentagon whistleblower who is putting his life at risk, literally, to give you this info. I was going to post a clip of the audio and text, but there was too many good spots that I couldn't choose one. The last line, however, when asked what he wants people to know if he should die, and here's the quote, he says, "You are not free, and this reality has far more than you have been allowed to believe, and God is real." End. That's it. It just ends right there. Now, my last comment on this post was, yes, God is real, Mr. Brown. But it's the Christian's job to take this topic and direct people to the real God of Scripture and not allow the world to get at it first as they already are. And then I say a few things underneath. Maybe I'll get to that later. But so yeah, he says that, and I kind of find it strange that it just ends there. Like, come on, Jeremy, you know what you're doing. I mean, so he says that quote, or he says that thing, and it's not like, where Jeremy and George Knapp, where they just like, okay, cut it right there, that's good. He says, and God is real. End. Okay, let's go get some coffee. That was good. Good job, Matthew Brown. Thanks for giving us your time. No, I mean, there's probably more discussion after that. They knew he knows what, he's doing, being a filmmaker. He knows that that's going to whip the entire internet up into a storm, in which it kind of did. A lot of people are talking about that last comment and other things that he talked about, but it was that last one. Now, a lot of people were like, oh, was that like what he learned from Immaculate Constellation? Was that something from the government declaring that God is real? So since then, I think it was the next episode of Weaponized where Jeremy kind of goes over it. I think it was that one. Maybe it was elsewhere, but he talks about how it was his informed opinion. It's his opinion, but it's an informed opinion. So take that for what it is. Now, I kind of understood that he was just speaking as himself, as his opinion. But a lot of people, they made a lot of videos like Vetted, and so many other people are running off of that like, wow, is that something that he learned? No, I think it's pretty clear that it was an informed opinion, just his opinion. But, what does he mean by that? Again, I'm sure that interview, in that casual discussion that they were having, they probably kept on going. It probably didn't just end there. He probably clarified. But, that's like the money line right there. That's the attention grabber. Hey, let's end it right there and get people to talk about it. So, yeah, I don't know how you can reach out to Matthew Brown. I haven't seen him do any other interviews or whatever. Ooh, I just saw a nice flash of lightning. Are you going to hear that thunder? But anyway, but like I said, though, in my post, there it is. It is the Christian's job to declare who God is. And maybe this person is a believer. I don't know. I think I remember him saying some stuff that may contradict that a little bit. I don't remember all the 3-part interview, but it's, and like I said in my post, like, this is a topic that's ripe for Christians to talk about, and it's very unfortunate that we as Christians, by and large, are not talking about it at all. It's just crazy to me. It's our job to get the biblical God up, because who knows what this person believes. It might not even be, the God of Scripture. It could just be generic God or something like that. In this topic of UAP, UFO, aliens, whatever, different gods are always talked about. Religion's always brought up. And it's not, obviously, what we believe as Christians. So I'm going to read this last paragraph I mentioned in my post here. Let's just read it and talk about it after. There's been several lines in, I think, the second episode and this one where they're basically talking about a deep state. Seriously, I think this is worthy to know if you are a Christian living in the United States, and if you are a Republican or conservative and you vote that way. There's so much in here, even beyond the main topic. If you are into politics, you are doing yourself a disservice by not understanding a lot of things that's talked about. So I think I say that because I'm just trying to lure people in, guys. Check this out. This is like super important. And of course, as you would know it, nobody responded to the post. Nobody liked it. Nobody, reacted or anything like that. So yeah, I'm left to wonder if people saw the post, or is it just Facebook algorithms not letting this get out? I don't know. So yeah, God is real, but it's a Christian's job to make him known, the God of Scripture. And that's what I'm going to do right now. Again, I got this gospel booklet. This is from Living Waters Ministry. Check out that website, fullyfreefilms.com. Lots of videos on there that share the gospel. And you're probably familiar with Ray Comfort, most of you, I'm sure. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I like how it has this $1 million bill look to it. Mostly based off of their other gospel tracts, which I use quite a bit of. Yeah, a couple years ago I got like a ton of these. Like, I don't know if it's like 1,000 of these or what, but I got a bunch of them to give out. But I'm going to deliver one. I do this a lot. I bike out to different areas and deliver the gospel message. among other things, but you can check all that out at Parade the Gospel YouTube channel. I've got lots of other YouTube channels, but that's kind of my main one. There's another one I haven't mentioned even on my Parade the Gospel YouTube channel for a long time. It is Nuggets of Truth Rock Ministry. Haven't posted to that in a couple of years, but I think I even have a couple of videos on there talking about what I'm about to do. I think maybe my last one had to do with that. But my Parade the Gospel is kind of like the main hub of evangelism content. So yeah, check that out, guys, if you want. And yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to say. Maybe I'll make another video. I have other stuff I want to talk about. I could probably make like several of these quick videos, different topics. Some of them, yeah, maybe I should have touched on a couple of weeks ago, but that's all right. All right, I gotta get going, and we'll talk to you later.